Shalom, shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH, YAHAWASHI, Quadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to mighty Akim, Wathim, who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this final captivity, as well as a speckled bird that may look like the other nations, but are actually Yasharallah. This is Brother Kawakub coming at you with another lesson. Today's lesson, it's going to be on this. Proverbs 16 verse 3, commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. And basically what this means is, when you are dedicated to YAHAWAH, then that's where you're going to start thinking like, it's like that saying, what's that saying go, it's better to be in no company than bad company, or something to that effect, where rather than being so desperate that you just hang out with anyone, all right, which anyone could include bad people that could genuinely get you in some type of trouble, you're better off basically being alone. That's basically the whatever the saying goes. I forgot what the term, but so as a result of that, if you are constantly associating yourself with YAHAWAH and doing stuff that's pleasing unto YAHAWAH, then you're going to start thinking like a righteous man or woman of the Lord. All right. And the funny thing about that is, I remember when I was younger, this happened. I heard this multiple times. All right. And this is not what's the word? It's not a self glaze. I'm genuinely just trying to say. I'm genuinely just trying to give an example, a genuine example that I remember. All right, but basically what happened was, as I was going to school, younger, like really a lot younger. What would happen was that the teachers would say, "Oh, this Kawakab is my actual name is always well behaved. If you why don't you guys go stick with him or whatever," and stuff like that, where they would ask the boys or tell the boys or whatever to hang out with me, so I could rub off my manners or whatever, my good behavior on them and stuff like that. And some would actually do that. All right, and that's the funny thing about it, where I don't know, in that instance, I wasn't necessarily ill behaved. I was well behaved, and I guess I rubbed off on some of the people where I guess some people did kind of calm down or whatever. But again, I'm not trying to say that as a self claim. I'm just trying to say that in a sense of this is like that's another thing where let me actually get that. Let me get that precept, because that's oftentimes what let me get this. What the Lord sets up. All right. Isaiah chapter 49 verse 6, and he said, "It is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant, to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to restore the preserved of Israel. I will give also thee for a light to the Gentiles, that thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth." So basically, actually, let me also get this in Micah chapter 4 verse 2, "And many nations shall come and say, Come and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, and the house of and to the house of the power of Jacob. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For the law shall go forth of Zion, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem." So basically, the thing here is that there's going to be people, the other nations are going to basically follow and go and learn from the Israelites, all right, on how to basically do everything. All right, they don't know. They are going to be impressionable. They're going to be like, okay, well, what's the right thing? I don't know what the right thing. I don't know what's pleasing to YAHAWAH or more. And then the Israelites are going to teach them. And in that sense, that's kind of a spiritual thing that I'm trying to give a parallel on. But of course, again, I'm not trying to be arrogant or anything like that. All right, but moving on, still to get back to the original point, we are basically to constantly occupy our minds with how to please Yahawadah and what is, and as well as, like maybe, I don't know, studying the scriptures, because the thing about the scriptures is that, let's get this, Sirach chapter 1 verse 5, the word of Yahweh Most High is the fountain of wisdom, and her ways are everlasting commandments. Basically, the thing here is that the word of Yahweh, this Bible, this word, this is wisdom, and we have to constantly be studying it, constantly being familiar with it. All right, this is let me actually get this. Isaiah chapter 33 verse 6, and wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. So basically, this wisdom, all right, the wisdom and knowledge on these scriptures are what's going to be the things that protect us in time of trouble. All right, and you want to be familiar, you want to be aware, so that when things get bad, you just, all you have to do is refer to, oh, look what happened when other prophets, Daniel, I forgot those other three, but basically you look what happens when that's well, I'll just continue on, but basically look at what happens when all these other prophets believed on Yahawadah when they were in a tight spot, and the Lord delivered them. All right, and that's basically the wisdom that we have to say. And even then, Matthew chapter 10 verse 19, but when they deliver you up, take no thought how or what ye shall speak, for it shall be given you in that same hour what ye shall speak. And that's really it, where you don't even need to think about what to say, because the Lord Yahweh, he's going to instill in your mind naturally. All right, the Lord's just gonna be like, okay, let me help this person out, let me give them the exact things to say. All right, basically you don't even need to premeditate it. All right, next, Matthew chapter 6 verse 25, therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat or what ye shall drink, nor yet for your body what ye shall put on. Is not the life more than meat, and the body more than raiment? All right, so basically even here, when even your most basic of needs, all right, the Lord is going to help you out. All right, you just need to remember, trust, and have faith at the end of the day. All right, and that's generally the main thing I wanted to get at. I saw this and I thought, you know what, like that's so true. I saw this specific precept and I thought that's so true, because as you are, it's kind of like you're living and breathing the word of Yahawadah. All right, and as a result of that, then whenever you think, it's like say for example, if you see a judgment or you see something happen, like, oh, someone got shot or whatever, then your first instinct normally is to say, oh my God, such a terrible thing, XYZ, this, that, or whatever. Well, it's actually to say, like, okay, well, what led up to it, like what happened, or that's clearly just judgment from the Lord and whatnot, rather than taking a more carnal perspective on something that could have very well be deserved. And you know what's funny? That reminds me of an actual story, all right, where there was this guy that on the news, they reported that this guy had killed a man. It had killed what's it called, a coach. Basically, they kind of painted it out to be this guy had prior running with the cops, X, Y, and Z, this, that, and the third, and said that the killer was this terrible person or whatever. But in actuality, what happened was that the coach was sleeping with the guy's wife, so that's why he killed him. Because the killer caught the dude caught his wife with the coach. And the funny thing about it was that both his wife and the killer, they were students from his class. So he felt even more betrayed, and he just took his life as a result of that. All right, so they were painting it out they were painting the killer out to be this terrible man for no with no motivations or whatever and stuff like that. But it was very the reality of it, which I'm not justifying him killing them or not, but I'm just saying, like, you know, the dude was doing some evil stuff, and they were, and on the news, on the actual news channel, they were painting him out to be an amazing person and whatnot. All right, so this is something to remember. I pray this lesson was edifying. I'm going to give all honor, glory, and praise unto YAHAWAH, SHAMAIWAN, HAITIANS, double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, above, Shalom.